Okay, let's get this over with. So today we're going to be talking about Bob Ross. First of all, who was Bob Ross? Robert Norman Ross, that's his full name by the way, was born on October 29th, 1942. Unfortunately, not much is known about his childhood, so I'm just going to skip ahead. Ross eventually grew up and became a television personality, with his show The Joy of Painting, which aired on PBS. He continued working on his show until 1994. Sadly, on July 4th, 1995, he passed away from lymphoma. Although he passed away, his legacy continues to live on. Now that we have our basic understanding of who he was, let's go back a bit. So first, how did Bob Ross get his start in art? At the age of 18, Ross was enlisted into the United States Air Force. During his time in Alaska, which was also his time in the military, he decided to join an art class, which was the Anchorage USO Club. From there, he found his passion for art, and he eventually learned how to paint. While learning how to paint, he found a new show called The Magic of Oil Painting with Bill Alexander. Alexander was teaching oil painting with an interesting technique called the alla prima. I think that's how you pronounce it. He taught the alla prima technique, also known as the wet on wet technique. Ross was very interested and began trying it out. After leaving the military, Ross took some private lessons with Alexander and perfected the technique. Once he learned the technique, he started his own show on PBS called The Joy of Painting. His show eventually led to his success and fame. Speaking of fame, how did Bob Ross become famous? We kinda already talked about it, but let's go more in depth. Ross had a very friendly personality, and he also had a very soothing voice, I should say. Add that with his amazing paintings and baby animals, boom, ratings. Just like that, it was a highly rated show and was very popular from the 80s to the 90s. He became a celebrity and even started selling his own merchandise. But all good things have to come to an end. He started to have severe health problems and decided he should just retire. And on May 17th, 1994, he aired his last episode. It's been over 2 decades since he's passed away, but he's still just as popular as he was all those years ago. Hell, he's reached meme status. And that's how he became famous. Now let's compare Ross to, Bill Alexander. Let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. Both were skilled oil painters, painting landscape paintings most of the time, and had a show on PBS. Oh yeah, they also became rivals. Bill Alexander had a passion for art for his entire life, while Bob Ross didn't get into it until once he was in the military. Bill Alexander was a teacher, and Ross learned from him. Bill sold his paintings while Ross either donated or kept them. And that's all I have for comparing Bob Ross to Bill Alexander. Now I'm going to give you some random facts about Bob Ross. The most popular episode of The Joy of Painting, this is according to his YouTube channel, is Island in the Wilderness, which is season 29, episode 1. Ross painted about 30,000 paintings throughout his entire lifetime. Final fact, he ended up having 3 children, Morgan Ross, Bob Ross Jr., and Stephen Ross. Okay, that's all I have to say about Bob Ross. Okay, bye.